its first case of a neurological disease associated with equine herpes. What symptoms you should be looking out for if you own horses. Then a proposed rule change could impact the way you get through airport security. Why, you want to make sure that you have your real ID unless you want to be fined. We're going to have those details from Washington. And Thanksgiving is this week. Everyone is wondering, what is it going to look like? Tirza, what can you tell us?
Hey, Monica, the region is looking to be rather dry, and we are looking at seasonal temperatures for a good portion of the forecast. Your Thanksgiving afternoon is shaping to look on the warmer end, but how will conditions look when you're heading out to that parade? I do have more details coming up. KTSM 9 Plus starts right now.
You're watching KTSM 9 News First at 4. Starts right now.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much for tuning in to KTSM 9 Plus, your digital newscast. I'm Monica Cortez. We begin with this update this afternoon. A 60-year-old man has been arrested in connection with an Upper Valley shooting that happened over the weekend. This right here that you're seeing on your screen is Kevin Carl Welch, and according to El Paso police, he was arrested and charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon after he allegedly shot a 59-year-old man several times. Now, as we first told you over the weekend, the incident happened on Saturday on Lombardi Avenue. When police arrived, they found a man who had been shot and was taken to a hospital. Police tell us through the investigation, Welch was identified as the shooter and placed into custody. He was booked into the El Paso County Detention Facility under a $750,000 bond. Anyone with information on this case is asked to call Crime Stoppers of El Paso at the number you see right there on your screen. And a 34-year-old man was arrested over the weekend for indecency with a child and public intoxication in Fabens. This is 34-year-old Ricardo Morales, and according to the El Paso County Sheriff's Office, on Saturday, deputies responded to a report of a sexual assault on Northeast Davis Street in Fabens. Deputies spoke with the 16-year-old victim who described the offender as Morales. He was taken into custody and booked into the El Paso County Detention Facility with no bond. Well, first at 4, we're just days away from Thanksgiving, and Stumble Parade officials are now saying that there will not be any horses in the parade this year. This all comes after New Mexico's first reported case of a neurological disease associated with equine herpes. Now, the affected horses attended the 2025 Women's Professional Rodeo Association World Finals in Waco, Texas in early November, and is currently being treated in isolation. Now, this disease is a highly contagious virus that spreads through respiratory mucus and other fluids, shared equipment, and trailers. Symptoms do include fever, hind leg weakness, and in several cases, inability to stand. There is no cure to this disease, but most affected horses make full recovery with proper care. Over to a health alert when it comes to turkey time this Thanksgiving. You don't want to end up calling the fire department or end up in the hospital. Kitchen fires are the leading cause of fires in the United States, and according to the North Metro Fire, on Thanksgiving Day alone in 2023, there were more than 1,400 home cooking fires across the U.S. Now, there is a lot of things that you have to be careful about, from keeping the fryer on level ground and not touching oil in the pot, but most importantly, having a thawed-out bird.
It can take several days to defrost a turkey. That ice inside of the turkey will melt, turning into water, causing a reaction with the oil, and can explode.
Now, he goes on to say that it's important to have the deep fryer at least 15 feet away from your home, fence, or trees, and to make sure not to cook in a garage or under a patio. Now, if you do find yourself in this situation, just simply call 911 right away. All right, let's go ahead and take a little break from today's headlines and talk about what everyone's talking about this week, and that is Thanksgiving Day. So on this Monday, you're seeing those mostly clear skies. Things are looking really nicely, but the big question here is, Ms. Tirza, what can we expect for Turkey Day?
Well, Monica, I am happy to report our Turkey Day is looking good. We are very close to average. I don't know if it's the temperatures to go out and necessarily fry a turkey, but you know what, to each their own. If that's something you want to do, we will be in good condition. Very dry, very normal temperatures, and very light winds as we move throughout the rest of our work week. Taking a look right now, though, we had a beautiful afternoon. We're still a little bit on the warmer end, 65 degrees for El Paso, 64 over in Juarez, Las Cruces, down in those low 60s, Deming and Alamogordo as well. And we're looking at very light winds as we continue to close out the rest of our Monday. But taking a look at the rest of our temperatures and what to expect, we do drop down as we go throughout the rest of the week. But then we see a little warming upturn happen towards the end, 68 degrees for your Thursday. We'll be hitting 70s for Friday and Saturday. But then we do have another storm system entering our region. It is going to drop us back down to those mid to low 60s as we get into our first week of December. I can't believe we are already there, and hopefully our temperatures will continue to go down and finally start to feel like winter. Plenty of activities this weekend. We had Winterfest, a lot going on, and we still have a lot going on. Of course, though, we do have beautiful conditions going for our Tuesday, Wednesday, and for our Turkey Day. 68 degrees is that high. We will break it down in just a little bit coming up in our full 9-day forecast. But for now, Monica, I'll send it back over to you.
Tirza, thank you so much for that. Let's go ahead and take you outside using our TechStock cameras. And this is what we are seeing. I-10 Joe Battle in Far East El Paso looking pretty nice and smooth. Over on I-10 Rainer, not a lot of traffic to slow you down. Well, to our border report now. Mexico says it has deployed 600 soldiers to Chihuahua in the wake of a massacre at a private racetrack in the southern part of the state. According to the Chihuahua Attorney General, 7 men were shot to death after 2 rival cartels had an argument during a horse race at Carril Santa Teresa. The state police chief said Mexican Army troops and National Guard members have been deployed to the city and to highway checkpoints to discourage further violence and capture the assailants in both incidents. To read more on the story, just simply head on over to borderreport.com. And over to national news. A proposed rule change could impact the way that you actually get around through security, airport security. In today's Political Minute, News Nation's Blake Berman breaks down those details.
Traveling without a real ID, it could cost you. I'm Blake Berman, host of The Hill on News Nation. The Transportation Security Administration is proposing an $18 fee for U.S. air travelers without a real ID. Passengers who pay the fee would instead have their identity verified using a biometric machine. Real IDs are state-issued driver's licenses and identification cards that meet federal standards. In May, TSA started requiring real IDs for air travel. To tell if you have a real ID card, check for a star in the upper right-hand corner. This as TSA looks to upgrade its screening technology. The Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem announcing a new $1 billion investment to modernize airport screenings. This Thanksgiving season, AAA projects that nearly 82 million people will travel at least 50 miles from home, a new record. The FAA also expects that Tuesday will be the peak air travel day with roughly 52,000 flights. I'm Blake Berman, and this is the News Nation Political Minute.
Jalisco Cafe in the Segundo Barrio is continuing their Thanksgiving tradition. Coming up, we're going to go over your thoughts on today's In the Comments segment. Then, if you're looking to buy a live Christmas tree this year, you may just luck out. Experts say prices this year may be cheaper than last. We're going to have those details. Thank you so much for tuning in to KTSM 9+, always putting local first.
Scan to download KTSM Plus free.
Viking Rock, 122 South Old Pueblo Road in El Paso, Texas.
Today, in the comments segment, Jalisco Café in the Segundo Barrio is continuing their Thanksgiving tradition, serving free meals to those who need it most. For over 20 years, the restaurant has served up a free full-course traditional Thanksgiving dinner for those who normally don't get to enjoy one. And this year is no exception. Meals will be available this Thursday from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. at Jalisco Café, located on East 7th Avenue. We did share this story all over our social media pages, and a lot of you had lots of thoughts you wanted to share. So we're going to start off with Araceli Jimenez, who writes, "Thank God for places like these. So many families don't have to go hungry." Meanwhile, Jesus Gardea shares, "This is my hangout. I live 1.5 blocks away from there. They're the best." And Sarah Varela wrote in Spanish, but we translate it saying, "May God keep blessing them. When you bless others, God blesses you even more." Jalisco Café has opened registrations to win Menudo for 2 in 2026, and participants can actually come in and register. No purchase is required. The raffle will be drawn on January 1st, and 5 lucky winners will enjoy free Menudo for 2 each week throughout the rest of next year. Well, here at KTSM, we value your opinion and we want to hear more from you. So make sure you're following us all over our social media platforms to keep in touch with us through the comments. And as you prepare to shop this Black Friday, online shoppers need to be cautious for scams and fraud. Up next, we're going to hear from an expert on this topic. Stay with KTSM 9+.
Price to take home. Visit us at 6330 Montana or learn more at potoyota.com.
Welcome back, everyone. All right, check this out. McDonald's restaurants will be launching a Grinch meal on December 2nd, featuring the wicked but beloved Dr. Seuss character, and it's going to include a Big Mac or a 10-piece order of chicken nuggets, plus a new take on McDonald's signature French fries. They're going to be called Dill Pickle Grinch Salt. McShaker fries. Now, the promotion will include Grinchly packaging and a pair of socks, really, featuring the Grinch, his dog Max, and Cindy Lou Who. I'm going for the socks.
You know what? How fun. I think I would actually go for the fries.
Really? You like dill pickles?
I love dill pickles. Pickle flavored anything.
Really?
I think, yeah. So
interesting.
That's interesting, though. I never thought of pickles as a holiday
Me neither.
type of
Me
flavor.
neither. But it goes. It's the Grinch.
I guess so.
And he is a little wicked.
He is a little wicked, a little bit peculiar, a little odd. So maybe we'll have to taste test if McDonald's wants to, you know, help some girls out with trying some of that. That would be great.
We'd love to be your taste testers.
We could also take a field trip over there. But you know what? It is so fun that we're finally getting into the holiday spirit. We had Winterfest this weekend. I'm so happy everyone's starting to push out all of those winter activities. It might not feel like it just yet, but we will be getting cooler later on in the week. Currently looking at 65 degrees though in El Paso. Very light winds moving from the west at 10 miles per hour. Taking a look over at Las Cruces, we are also looking at temperatures beginning to drop down finally, but still looking at very sunny skies. 60 degrees over there. Lighter winds coming from the southwest at 6 miles per hour. And across the rest of the region, it looks like those wind gusts are a little bit on the stronger end. 17 currently in El Paso. 5 over in Las Cruces, not too bad, but of course when we move up to New Mexico, 23 over in Ruidoso and 15 over in Cloudcroft. Those should begin though to die down as we move to our evening. Talking about our overnight hours though, 43 degrees will be that overnight low for El Paso. We're looking at very clear skies, very light winds. Overall though, it will be a cooler night when you're waking up for tomorrow. Conditions will be pretty chilly. As for Las Cruces, 35 degrees, even colder, very close to freezing conditions. So make sure you are bundling up and taking care of those plants, those pets, the people, pipes, whatever it may be. Just make sure you're taking care of that because, again, very cold with some light winds that could feel even cooler. Now for tomorrow, our high will be in those mid to upper 60s. So we're looking just overall very similar conditions to what we had today. Very calm winds here in El Paso. Moving over to Las Cruces, 66 is also that forecasted high. Overall, just very sunny and a very warm, but pretty beautiful. Not a bad way to continue our holiday week. For the rest of the region, 56 degrees over in Ruidoso. We'll be warming up to 52 degrees over in Cloudcroft. We'll stay in those low 60s for Alamogordo. We're looking at 64 TRC and 65 degrees over in Deming. Now checking out our allergens will be 6 for our Tuesday, and then we drop down to 5 for both our Wednesday and for Thanksgiving. Not too bad. We've seen them definitely higher, so just really looking good in the allergen department. As for the rest of our 9-day forecast, we're going to remain clear for a good portion of the evening, dare I say the whole evening. 8 p.m. 58 degrees is going to be that temperature. We drop down to 53 by our 10 p.m. hour. Come midnight, we're down to 50, and then we go below that to 49 for our 2 a.m. hour, and we will just continue to drop down until we hit those low 40s. Now, as for the rest of our 9-day forecast, we will be relatively dry. We're also looking to be warming up to our seasonal temperatures. We are going to hit pretty warm temperatures for our Friday and for our Saturday. We're looking very warm conditions in those low 70s. We will hit 66 degrees though on Sunday. And talking about Sunday, we do have a storm system entering the region. It is going to bring us cooler temperatures. We will drop down to those low 60s for our Monday, and then we'll just slightly jump back up to the mid 60s before we drop down again to 63 for the Wednesday. Our Thanksgiving though, looking great. Partly cloudy skies, 68 degrees, very light winds, overall good conditions. 42 when you are waking up and getting out there and just really enjoying the parade. But I would recommend bundling up. But don't go anywhere. We have more news headed your way. This is KTSM 9+.
details.
Welcome back, everyone. Well, the holiday season is upon us, and if you're looking for a real Christmas tree, we actually have some pretty good news for you. Prices for the festive tree are actually expected to remain the same or even lower from prices last year on average. Now, experts do say that salesmen at a tree farm where they grow trees and sell them nationally, he notes that demand for Christmas trees usually picks up right after Thanksgiving. So if you are looking to get one, it's best to get it by the holiday weekend. Experts also say that while prices may vary by company, overall in the industry, prices might be more consumer friendly this year. Take a listen.
Supply's going up, so a lot of people are now growing again. A lot more supply in the market, which makes it competitive. The nice thing about us is that everything is grown.
Now this year, the average price for a Christmas tree is expected to range anywhere from $40 to over $150, with many growers holding prices steady compared to previous years. And if you're looking to buy a real tree, check out the Lincoln and Gila National Forests. Tree permits are actually available for purchase for guests to come in and pick out their own Christmas tree and take it home. For the Lincoln National Forest, the Christmas tree permit is $10, and the permit for the Gila National Forest is $5. You can purchase your permits on our website, that's KTSM.com. And as you prepare to shop this Black Friday, online shoppers need to be cautious for scams and fraud when buying gifts for their loved ones. Even those who aren't shopping for the holidays should still be on the lookout for some common scams. Kirsten Redford has more.
Fraud and scams can affect everybody. I don't care if you have $5 to your name or $5 million to your name.
When you're looking for the perfect gift, Dayton Area Community Manager at Chase, Kenya Taylor, says only buy from vetted retailers.
As much as we're filled with joy, we want to get things for our families and just really get out there and shop and buy the things that they want and they love. We got to be really careful because the scammers are out there also trying to steal our joy.
To make sure an online retailer is legitimate, check for spelling and URLs. And research to make sure the deals are real.
If you see a deal that's too good to be true, I would recommend that you do some research because 9 times out of 10, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is.
Taylor also warns about a scam that reaches out through emails or texts saying a bill or fine needs to be paid. And the only way to pay it is with a gift card.
If somebody's asking you to buy a gift card to pay a bill, that's not typically how it's done. If it doesn't make sense in how you're paying your bill in a certain type of way, don't do it.
Taylor also says use a credit card over a debit card. Don't give out personal information and review your bank statements for suspicious activity.
Don't let the scammers fool you, but be aware, be vigilant, and still have a joyful holiday season.
All right, well, don't go anywhere. We still have another half hour of news and weather coming up right after this break. You're watching
Have you called yet? Because your internet is forever. But this ad ends.
Welcome back to KTSM 9 Plus. I'm Monica Cortez. We're going to begin with an update this afternoon. A 60-year-old man has been arrested in connection with an Upper Valley shooting that happened over the weekend. This right here, who you're seeing on your screen, is Kevin Carl Welch, and according to El Paso police, he was arrested and charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon after he allegedly shot a 59-year-old man several times. Now, as we first told you over the weekend, the incident happened on Saturday on Lombardi Avenue. When police arrived, they found a man who had been shot and was taken to a local hospital. Police tell us that through the investigation, Welch was identified as the shooter and placed into custody. He was booked into the El Paso County Detention Facility under a $750,000 bond. Anyone with information on this case is asked to call Crime Stoppers of El Paso at the number you see right there on your screen. A 36-year-old man was arrested and charged with cruelty to animals after a social media post allegedly showed him punching and throwing a dog to the ground. This right here is Gilberto Santos, and according to El Paso police, he was arrested and booked into the El Paso County Detention Facility on a $10,000 bond. Police said they launched an investigation after the social media post surfaced. Santos was identified through an anonymous tip. And a 34-year-old man was arrested over the weekend for indecency with a child and public intoxication in Fabens. This, who you're seeing on your screen, is 34-year-old Ricardo Morales, and according to the El Paso County Sheriff's Office, on Saturday, deputies responded to a report of a sexual assault on Northeast Davis Street in Fabens. Deputies spoke with a 16-year-old victim who described the offender as Morales. He was then taken into custody and booked into the El Paso County Detention Facility with no bond. And as Texas approaches a midterm election year, one of the biggest questions facing the state is, what will our congressional district map look like? The map that determines which areas of the state members of Congress can represent. And all eyes are on the U.S. Supreme Court to make a decision on what map will be used ahead of the campaign filing deadline. Dylan McKim provides us some context.
As it stands on Monday, this is the congressional map that will be used in the upcoming elections, which is great news for Republicans. That's because it's designed to help give them 5 additional seats in Congress for their party. But this fight is far from over. So let's break down what's being argued in court.
Less than a week ago, Democrats across the nation were celebrating when a federal court ruled in their favor, saying there was evidence that Texas's new congressional map was racially gerrymandered. The court temporarily blocked its usage in upcoming elections. Attorney General Ken Paxton appealed that ruling to the Supreme Court, arguing this decision came too close to an election. Congressional candidates have already started campaigning in certain districts. He also argued the court disregarded judicial precedent when making its decision. Paxton's appeal asked the Supreme Court to block the lower court's ruling by December 1st. On Friday, Supreme Court Justice Samuel Alito temporarily paused the lower court's ruling until the Supreme Court could make a decision. Governor Greg Abbott was in Hays County shaking hands with supporters on Saturday. There, he defended the new map, saying the state legislature's intent was for partisan gain only.
We know for a fact that there is no racial bias whatsoever.
Democratic Congressman Lloyd Doggett, whose re-election bid rests on which map will be used in the midterm elections, said Monday he's still confident he'll run for re-election, saying in a statement, quote, "I remain hopeful of a final ruling within the next 10 days, affirming the Trump-Abbott map is an illegal racial gerrymander, which should not be used in the upcoming election." Ultimately, 9 Supreme Court justices will have to decide whether or not to block the lower court's ruling. And although the court is controlled by Republican-appointed judges, Republican leaders know anything can happen.
Anybody who says they know for certain how a court will rule will lie to you about other things as well.
In Austin, I'm Dylan McKim.
And we're just days away from Thanksgiving, and the Sun Bowl parade officials are now saying there won't be any horses in the parade this year. This comes after New Mexico's first reported case of a neurological disease associated with equine herpes. Now, the affected horses attended the 2025 Women's Professional Rodeo Association World Finals in Waco, Texas, earlier this month, and is currently being treated in isolation. Now, this disease is a highly contagious virus that spreads through respiratory mucus or other fluids shared equipment, and even trailers. Symptoms do include fever, hind leg weakness, and in some severe cases, inability to stand. There is no cure for this disease, but most affected horses can make a full recovery with proper care. All right, let's go ahead and take a quick look outside using our tower camera. This is what we are seeing right now. So those mostly clear skies, it really looks beautiful. It was a little chilly today. Big question is, are we going to see a cold Thanksgiving? And for that, let's go ahead and send it over to Tirza Ortiz. Hey, Tirza.
Hey there, Monica. To answer your question, I would say we're looking at a mild, potentially even a warmer Thanksgiving.
I love that.
I kind of love it too. It's not a bad way to get outdoors, but you're right. We did have a cooler morning today, and as we continue moving throughout the rest of the week, our mornings will remain cool. So I would recommend layering up, especially if you're going to the turkey trot, potentially being out there for the actual parade. It can get chilly. We are looking at pretty decent cloud cover for our actual Thanksgiving day, so we know with that it can feel a little bit cooler, so layers are the way to go. For right now though, we're currently looking at temperatures around 65 degrees in El Paso, 64 over in Juarez. Las Cruces already in those upper 50s, Alamogordo as well, Cloudcroft at 40, with Ruidoso slightly warmer at 48 degrees. Taking a look at our temperature trend, though, we are going to remain in those upper to mid-60s all the way through Thanksgiving. We rise up to 68 degrees, so this is where I'm saying we are going to be a little bit on the warmer end. And then we'll get warmer for the weekend. We're looking at 74 Friday and for our Saturday, but we do have a storm system coming. It will drop us back down into those 60s, going to more fall-like conditions as we prepare to go to the beginning of December. I will have more details, though, in our full 9-day forecast. Monica, I'll send it back over to you.
Tirza, thank you so much. And in case you missed it, airports and travelers are preparing for a record holiday travel season. Xavier Walton has more from the Dallas airport, where many are already heading out for their Thanksgiving plans.
So we are looking at what could be potentially the busiest travel season in some 15 years, whether that's, on the roads or in the skies. Millions of Americans, they're bracing for what could be extremely busy. And on top of that, TSA is kind of floating this idea of an extra fee to sort of pile on. We're going to get to that in just a second, but the FAA says, listen to some of these numbers, more than 360,000 flights scheduled over the Thanksgiving period, with Tuesday marked as the peak day at more than 52,000 flights nationwide. AAA expects roughly 6 million people to fly, and then more than 80 million Americans traveling overall. Airlines say they have added extra seats and staff to handle the surge, but they're also warning flyers to build in extra time for longer lines, full flights, and weather delays.
Yeah, we come on time. We live pretty close. It's pretty convenient. We're super light travel at the same time. This is not our first rodeo.
We're going to exit. We're going to go around. They'll do everything for you. You have to have your tag on you.
Oh, no.
Hey. It's nothing but a thing.
Poor Ingrid, that woman got to the line, to the front of it, and she had to go back because she didn't actually put in her information to actually check her bag. But as for this proposal from TSA, it's not for everyone. Don't worry just yet, especially if you have this, your Real ID, that gold star. You're going to be good. If you don't, though, you should definitely bring an alternative form of identification, like, say, a passport. Under the proposal, travelers are expected to pay $18 for TSA to run an identity check using biometric kiosks. That approval would be good for 10 days, so a short round trip would only be charged once. But TSA says even if you do pay, the modernized alternative identity verification program does not guarantee your identity can be verified or that you'll be cleared to enter the secure area. Bottom line, if you have a Real ID or a passport, you're going to be good, and this is just a proposal. Either way, airlines say to get to the airport extremely early this year just to prepare in the event that there is an extremely long line. In Dallas, Xavier Walton.
And the White House is officially kicking off the holiday season. The official Christmas tree has arrived today, and our DC's Raquel Martin was there for the festivities.
Michigan helped deliver a historic victory for President Donald Trump last year, and Monday, the state is making history, delivering the annual Christmas tree to the White House. First Lady Melania Trump was all smiles as the tree arrived to the North Lawn after making a nearly 700-mile journey from Corson's family farm near Sydney. It's the first Michigan-based tree farm to win the National Christmas Tree Association's competition since 1984. The more than 20-foot tree will be set up in the center of the Blue Room inside the White House. The White House estimates roughly 100,000 visitors will get to see it. Before chopping it down and shipping it out Tuesday, Corson's family farm owner said not only will it be a beautiful sight, but will offer the Blue Room a unique aroma.
It has a citrus fragrance, so if you grab a needle off from a concolor fir and break it and smell it, it smells like an orange.
One smaller tree from the Corson farm will sit in the Oval Office. After the East Wing demolition halted public tours at the White House, those will begin again on Tuesday. This is the 60th year the National Tree Association has presented a tree, kicking off the holiday season at the People's House. In Washington, Raquel Martin.
A report on missing and murdered Indigenous people is nowhere to be found on the U.S. Department of Justice's website. The U.S. Justice Department says that the report was removed because of President Trump's executive order on defending women from extreme gender ideology. The Federal Not Invisible Act Commission, created in 2019 under President Donald Trump's first administration, developed the Not One More report. In it are recommendations and staggering statistics on missing and murdered Indigenous people. Democratic State Representative Ronald Stewart introduced legislation last year to safeguard funding for Oklahoma's Office of Liaison for Missing and Murdered Indigenous Persons, a move he says he's glad the legislature supported. Now, those who helped create the report say although it's been taken off of a government website, it's not truly gone, and resources are still available.
We're going to continue to do our work for our people because it's a need, and we know that our people need help.
These are things that have been going on for generations. It predates any talking points that are going on in our current government and current political climate.
Now, the DOJ says that the report can still be accessed on external websites, and their response to the report's findings can still be found on their website. Well, coming up, call it El Paso Chick or Chuco Town fashion. The Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders have been rocking boots made here in El Paso. How they helped highlight different charities through the boots. Then the U.S. Postal Service just announced it's raising its prices. And we go over your thoughts in today's In the Comments segment. Thank you so much for tuning in to KTSM 9 Plus, always putting local first.
Scan to download KTSM Plus free.
Welcome back, everyone. All right, check this out. The iconic Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders have been wearing their boots made from El Paso-based Lucchese boot maker for many years. And according to the company, Lucchese became the official boot of the cheerleaders back in 2011. And at yesterday's game against the Philadelphia Eagles, the Dallas Cowboys had their My Cause Boots game where the cheerleaders highlighted different charities close to their hearts. Isn't that amazing? I feel like El Paso makes a little bit of an impression on a national stage.
I totally agree. I think if there's one thing that people always kind of tell me about, it is the boots that people wear. Celebrities, now we have the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders. And I think that's incredible because we get known for the sun, the heat, our mountains, and now our food, which I agree with. You know, I am also a big fan of our food, but now our fashion, I think, yeah, on such a stage like that, that's incredible. Yeah, that is very cool. And you know what? It is boot season. We are finally in the midst of it. I am too, Monica. It is going to be a good week to bust out your boots. You could be like the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders too, just rocking those things all around. Maybe for Thanksgiving, you could go ahead and pop them out. Today, we did have very beautiful conditions. We're very mild temperatures. We are kind of moving away a little bit as we continue moving through the week into our more seasonal temperatures, but we're also very dry, and you're probably feeling it. Our allergens are a little bit on the higher end, but as we continue moving into next week, we'll start to notice those drop back down. For right now, those 65 degrees out the door. Very light winds moving from the west at 10 miles per hour over here in El Paso. Now over in Las Cruces, we're already beginning to cool down. 58 degrees is that temperature currently out the door. Lighter winds moving at 7 miles per hour, and that humidity is currently sitting at 39%. Now, as for our wind gusts, they are tracking higher up in New Mexico. We're looking at 19 miles per hour over in Ruidoso, 13 over in Cloudcroft. El Paso even 60 mile per hour wind gusts, and Juarez currently at 10. Now for tonight, those wind gusts, those winds will be even calmer. We are looking them to drop down to 0 to 5 miles per hour. We're looking at very clear skies, so it will be overall just a very cool, a very comfortable night. And again, those light winds if you do have any plans on heading out the door. Now for Las Cruces, even colder, 35 degrees is that forecasted low. We are very close to freezing temperatures, so just keep that in mind as you're moving into your evening hours. But again, those light winds will be moving 0 to 5 miles per hour as well. Now, as for our highs tomorrow, we will remain in those mid to upper 60s, 66 degrees is that forecasted high. Overall, though, very sunny, clear skies, maybe a few clouds here or there, but nothing really major to take away from the beautiful Tuesday. As for Las Cruces, will also be around 66 degrees. Overall, just very sunny, very warm, and those calm winds moving from the north at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Checking out the rest of the region, we are in the low 60s for Silver City. TRC, Deming in those mid-60s, Alamogordo 62. We're looking at Cloudcroft over here at 52 degrees, and Ruidoso currently going to be 56. Now for our allergens, I did say we are dropping down slightly, 6 for your Tuesday, and then we drop down to 5 for your Wednesday and for your Thursday. Checking out the rest of our 9-hour zone, how to plan out the rest of your evening come 7 p.m. We're down to 59 degrees, not too bad, but we'll keep getting cooler, 54 for your 9 p.m. hour. Come 11 p.m., 52 degrees, and then we drop down below our 50s, going to 49 for both 1 a.m. and 2 a.m. And across the board, we are just looking at very beautiful, clear skies. Really a great night. Maybe even head out to the plaza to check out Winterfest if you didn't get to do that over the weekend. It is really looking pretty beautiful out there in downtown. Now let's go ahead and look at the rest of your 9 days and what we have in store. For Tuesday and Wednesday, we'll be in those mid to upper 60s. We're looking at very calm winds, very clear conditions. And then come Thursday, our holiday, we are looking to be a little bit warmer, 68 degrees. The morning, though, will be pretty chilly. I would recommend bringing layers out if you're going out to the parade or to watch someone run the turkey trot. And then we'll be in the 70s for Friday, Saturday before we see a storm system on Sunday. Monica, back to you.
Tirza, thank you so much. And in today's In the Comments segment, we're actually going to be talking about U.S. Postal Service is planning what they're calling new competitive prices on its shipping services. So in a proposed file earlier this month, USPS suggested that price increases for Priority Mail Express, USPS Ground Advantage, and Parcel Select services are going to help generate more money. The proposed changes have been sent to the Postal Regulatory Commission for review. And here's the good news, I guess, in all of this. If approved, the new prices would take effect next year, starting January 18th, 2026. So you don't have to worry about this holiday season. Now, we did share the story all over our social media accounts, and many of you had lots of thoughts you wanted to share. So we're going to start off with Corina Ann Ebbs, who says the prices are just ridiculous. Meanwhile, Mariah Light writes, what else is new? Every 6 months, they raise the prices. And Karen Dorbney says, or asks, what's competitive about the prices? Now, here at KTSM, of course, we value your opinion, and we definitely want to hear more from you. So make sure you're following us on all of our social media platforms to keep in touch with us through the comments. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Segment sponsored by Emergence Health Network.
Hello, everyone. So in just a few days, a lot of people are going to be getting together to celebrate the Thanksgiving holiday. And well, for a lot of people, it's a happy time. For others, it can be stressful. Our expert is here to tell us how to navigate that stress. So what should we do?
I think it's important to plan out and be realistic with those plans as well.
Okay, and what can we do to manage that stress in addition to what you just said?
Yeah, definitely delegate, get plenty of sleep. Alcohol reduction is really important. And a big one is also to recognize that your traditions might not look like other people's, and that's okay.
Okay.
If you want to build your own, if you want to, just do your own thing, that's also perfectly fine.
And how about setting those boundaries? Because there might be pressure that you need to go to this house and this house and this house. How about those healthy boundaries?
Healthy communication and letting family members know that their interests might be different than yours, delegating again, right? And then ensuring that financially you're staying within your budget.
Okay. Lupita, thank you very much. And from all of us at Emergence Health Network, we hope you have a happy Thanksgiving.
Segment sponsored by Emergence Health Network.
Every playoff heartbeat, high school playoffs, and nobody covers it like the station putting a Gophers.
All right, welcome back. We're getting a final look at your exclusive 9-day forecast. We're looking at very dry and seasonal temperatures going into our Tuesday and our Wednesday. And then cute Thanksgiving. We have warmer than average, but overall just very beautiful conditions. The morning will be cold, though. We will be in those upper 40s, low 50s as you're getting ready to head out to the actual Thanksgiving Day parade. Overall, though, I would just say layer up, but our forecast is looking pretty good. Go ahead and take a look, and I'll just send it back to you, Monica.
Tirza, thank you so much for that, and thank you for tuning in to KTSM 9 Plus. I'm Monica Cortez. 9 News Now with Estela Casas is up next.
Hair and wardrobe provided by